Here we are at the UPMC Center in Pittsburgh. One of the great things happening in Pittsburgh is medicine. We're going to go visit Thomas Starzl. Usually a man of his stature would have an office in the multi-million-dollar building across the street. But this is Pittsburgh, and the man who discovered the first liver transplant, the man who's been a medical pioneer, has his office here. This is the Thomas E. Starzl Transplantation Institute. That's Pittsburgh. It's just me. Hi. Hi. Easy. Hi. Hi. It's just. Hey. Hi. Dr. Starzl? Terry? Sorry. Hi. I'm Carl.
Nice to meet you, Carl.
Nice to meet you. Hi. Is the good doctor around? Okay. Oh, good. Thank you so much. Oh, there he is. He snuck in that way. Hi, how are you? I'm glad to see they bark at you too then. Hey, it's so great. Now, do you take her up? It's funny because in LA they have these dog parks and everybody runs over here. Reinvent itself. Yeah. And also LA versus Pittsburgh, where I left and where I come back.
What's the key question?
Well, I'm glad you're asking that. I got this one for a couple of reasons. But you're somebody who came to Pittsburgh and made a difference.
Yeah, well, this is a learning experience, by the way, for me. I'm ashamed to admit this, but I didn't know that Pittsburgh had declared bankruptcy.
But, I know you had a choice of coming here, and ironically, I've been in LA for 20 years, and you had a similar type of choice to make when you first came here. Could you talk a little bit about how you ended up coming here in the first place? And
Well, I didn't like LA too much. Not that I had anything against it. In fact, it was a dream city of mine. Or to put it differently, I had always dreamed of going back because I spent a wonderful time there back in 1951 at UCLA, just when that school was beginning its medical branch. So, and I loved everything about it. The easy life, the means of transportation, and by the way, that didn't include the freeways at that time. And just the way it was all put together was very romantic. So I wanted to go back, but and was actually eager to do that. But then when I arrived there, I realized that to meet my obligations, I would have to drive 100 miles a day, and driving 100 miles a day in that freeway system was almost beyond imagination. And I also had a very nice feeling about Pittsburgh. Also, I had a nice feeling about this medical center, just the way it was constructed. Unlike a lot of modern buildings that looked like this like the Presbyterian Hospital had been built for 1,000 years. Just strong, everything first rate. And in fact, a lot of the old architecture in Pittsburgh is just like that.
So you had a choice between LA and Pittsburgh.
Right.
And when you chose Pittsburgh, could you tell me the reaction of some of your friends?
Well, I think some of them thought I was depressed. In fact, I don't think that what was accomplished here in the 80s with transplantation, which was a very turbulent time, it could have been done in any other city in the States. Couldn't have been done in LA, that's why I didn't go there. I don't know that could have been readily done in another city. Well, the incidence of donation, of cadaveric donation in Pittsburgh is amongst the very highest in the country. And that is, if you want some scale that you can use to measure the degree of community support, that's a perfect one to give. How frequently do the people in their moment of greatest sorrow say, let's help somebody else? That's a magnificent act. and it happens all the time here. To believe that you could create a Pittsburgh that in some way simulates the West Coast or the East Coast probably is not realistic.
Well,
Pittsburgh's
just
going to have
for
to thrive in some different way.